some hope to die.
By these 50 countries, differing so much in race and religion, in language and culture.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
Well, I know they're lying. They tricked me once, but they're not going to trick me twice. The time is now. Welcome back to the Professor Penn podcast. This is David Penn, your host. Always happy to be with you, although a little bit less so this evening because of the events that are capturing us today. It's Thursday, the 11th of September. Good morning, Tanner.
Good morning.
We have a guest in studio. How appropriate. We had Minister John Gapp ready to come in today, and he's here. So welcome, John. You're here on a momentous evening, the day after. We had you on not that long ago.
It was right after Annunciation. Yeah.
And what did we say? We said, what did I say? And you agreed with me. I said, this is in my cultural background, when this kind of stuff happens, we were quiet.
Yeah.
And I think the word, I was talking to a friend of mine last night, who was a political mentor of mine, Dave Kylo, who would be a great guest on the show, by the way. And I said, I was telling him about this, and, because all of the cacophony of about that. But he said the word is solemn, of solemnity.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm not in a place where I can judge what's going on because I look at all the political wrangling with this. But I'm really glad you're here. And I want to just say, as a minister, what do you say?
Boy, that's a question. And I think you have to have the humility to know that you don't know the right answer for the situation. You kind of have to, number one, just say, God is still on the throne in heaven, and we can figure it out from here. But I was at church last night actually, and talking with some people, and just it's shocking to see someone like Charlie Kirk, who was his whole platform is, let's disagree civilly. Let's learn how to have civil discourse on things that we disagree about, because if we stop talking, that's when war starts. That's when the fighting starts. So for him to be assassinated, to be taken out in the midst of that very thing, is there's a lot to it. I mean, for me, the whole afternoon with my wife was looking at his beautiful family, looking at a wife who now does not have her husband, his kids that don't have a father, and at the same time, the legacy that he left behind of he would lay it all down again and do the same thing. Number one, his obedience to Christ, and that every single thing that he said, everything that he put out on platforms or said in public, was first and foremost in obedience to his relationship with Christ. His relationship to God was number one in his life, and he said it time and time again. Politics aside, disagreements aside, everything that he was about the obedience to Christ, the alignment with Scripture, and that's where everything came from. But that's also why he was so effective. Is he didn't have to bring his pride into disagreements. He could accept people as they were, but then also say what he knew to be true. And that's offensive to some people, but you would see him, especially at the What what was the it's not the tell me I'm wrong, it's the what was the platform on the campuses? I don't remember the title of all of them, but it's basically let's disagree. Um,
You know what? Do you have any? Can you put a title on that, Mr. Tanner?
No, I'm trying to think. I'm also stumped.
Is this when he would sit at the
it
table,
was where he'd sit at the table, take questions, and respond. Yeah, it
face to
was
face, to just like
yeah,
this,
absolutely.
just like we're doing?
Yep, absolutely. And so that that ability to disagree needs a level of humility. Number one, to say it's not about me, and Charlie, as an outspoken Christian, it's I watched it and I admired the way he carried himself. Was he knew his stuff. He was a student of history. He was a student of the Bible. He was a student of people. And when he talked to people, especially people that he disagreed with, he was strong enough to allow them to disagree with him, but also um, not respond in a haughty way or a prideful, boastful way.
His personality for
He
disagreement was
was
exceptional.
yes,
He
absolutely.
could. You know, I spent some time going
Mhm.
back and looking,
Yeah,
and this was triggered by, and before we even get into that,
yeah,
I'm personally kind of uncomfortable about it, but
mm,
culture changes. Like, I give you a
right,
perfect example, culture changing. So I was raised in a culture, like if we
hmm,
went out to dinner as a family,
right,
I paid attention to the table.
mm,
I mean, there was no we couldn't even fidget. There was no fidgeting. I
hmm,
mean, that could get you in trouble.
yeah.
And now I go out to dinner and everybody pulls their phones out,
Pulls
everybody
out,
looks at their
right,
phones. And
right,
it's so offensive to
yeah,
me. But now I find myself doing it too because culture changes.
right,
And the culture around mourning is
hmm,
now within this digital context.
right.
And I don't want to say culture can't change because we need to change. I mean, that's
Oh
the hard,
yeah, yeah,
so, I'm trying to work through just talking about it,
yeah,
uh, just seeing it. I
hmm,
mean, it's just so, um, how shall we say, not part of my background, but saying culture is changing and people are talking about it,
right,
and it is the moment of the day. And
hmm,
I'm going to tell you, I was alive when John Kennedy got killed, and I'm going to tell you
yeah,
how that went down.
mm,
A lot of crying,
yep,
not a lot of talking.
right.
I mean, really, it was a
What?
giant gasp,
Yeah,
and then there was no real political discourse for a while. People were
right,
just aghast that
right,
this leader had been struck down. Now this is different. If people are
hmm,
aghast, but right away people pick it up and start using it as a football.
right. Well, I mean, unfortunately, that's kind of what we talked about last time I was here. Is never let a crisis go unused, or I still don't know the full quote.
Never let a crisis go to
Go to
waste.
waste. Yeah.
Allegedly, Winston Churchill picked up by Rahm Emanuel, but
Hmm.
it's politics, and I
It
have to
is.
say, in full disclosure, because
Hmm.
one of the things we do at Free People is we search for truth, and
Hmm.
I like to be very honest with myself and as honest as I
Right.
can be because I
Right.
don't think there's any hope otherwise.
Right.
I
Completely agree.
actually, when this happened last night, because I don't know Charlie Kirk, you look
Hmm.
at my age, I'm not highly, I mean, I know who he is,
Right.
but I'm not highly cathected into the Turning Point movement.
Sure.
I was shocked like everybody else. And then later
Yeah.
in the night, I started thinking, what does this mean?
Right.
What does this mean politically? So I myself am saying, "Mm, man, this politics thing takes people
It
into
does.
places that are very unhealthy."
Yeah. It does. Well, I mean, kind of what I was saying about Charlie though is, and when he puts his, and I'm speaking as a Christian who believes very similar to Charlie. What he professed is, I don't have to respond to those kinds of things because my identity is not in myself. My identity is in Christ. And then obviously, that works out differently with every person because everybody has their own giftings, their own callings. But Charlie was really good at about having that platform and having the ability to dialogue, but he was able to do it without it being a glory to himself. Um, so now when you see people responding to the tragedy yesterday, and they either rejoice um, or they get reflective and they say goodbye to someone they really either knew or admired. It's really telling about culture. And so that's been one of those interesting things to watch online. Most of the people that I follow, and maybe I have a small list of people that I follow. So most of the people that I was following, were very introspective and just in the moment, in honor of Charlie. Um, I think most people are, and then you see a side of some people that rejoiced in the calamity that occurred, the atrocity. I don't know what else to say about that, David. I mean, what you said in when JFK was assassinated,
It was
it was
it
it
was
was
quiet.
a national.
It was national
It was
mourning.
yeah.
Mourning. I mean, it was.
He was a uniting. Obviously, he had political differences with people, right? What was the state of America at that time when?
I can only that's a great question, and I've tried to talk about it
Yeah.
on the uh, podcast for 2 years.
Hmm.
Being born in the 50s and
Yeah.
being conscious when that happened.
Right.
Uh, and you talked in the last time you heard about the unification of the people
Yeah.
after 9/11.
Yeah.
This was a completely different level thing.
Right.
The World War II ended in 45, so we were in a first turning. Kennedy's death was the start of the second turning. If you
Right. Yeah.
look at a kind of a historical
Hmm.
poem,
Hmm.
uh, and when you have 89 million people that die in 5 years, and then there's a complete meltdown of the whole
Right.
world system,
Right.
when it gets rebuilt and suddenly America is the most important player in the game,
Right.
and then there's all the spin mastering that goes on about,
Hmm.
how did that happen?
Right.
I grew up in an environment that's very pro United States,
Yep. Yep.
a sense of righteousness
Right.
that is just gone. I mean, for Tanner, is there any sense of righteousness about the United States left in your? I'm asking for a poetic kind of a review, but does your generation have any of that sense that what America does is right and good and true?
No. Yeah, no, not right now.
Because we
No.
did.
Yeah.
I mean, we beat the Nazis, and the spin mastering after the war made that
Hmm.
into a kind of an epical kind of a good versus
Yeah.
evil fight.
Yeah.
And
And I find myself, I'm a young Gen Xer. I was born
okay,
in '79.
okay,
So I'm right on that cusp of Gen X and millennial. But we're right in the middle of, it's pretty easy to see the sins of the United States on the world stage. You know, uh, does the United States have the right to be the world police? It's the question that we all ask.
well, no, so I have to be careful on
I
the
wait.
word all.
We all, yeah, yeah,
Cognitive distortion. No,
right,
I will
right,
attest that in the Republican Party of
yeah,
Minnesota, there's a lot of players
yeah.
that are not asking themselves that question.
Well, I think that's definitely a question to be asked
But I'm going to
because, yeah,
young man, just let me just add,
I'm ready.
there is in certain groups, cohorts in there,
Mm-hmm.
there's a kind of a Calvinist Christian manifest destiny
Mm-hmm.
to that also.
Right.
So you got the scientific crew that just thinks we're better.
Mm-hmm.
We can kick your ass. How many
Yeah.
aircraft carriers do
Right.
you own?
Yeah.
And then there's a kind of manifest destiny part to it. So I mean, this is an
Yeah.
important part
Mm-hmm.
of what I want to talk to you about. But
Yeah.
go on. I mean, because what
Yeah.
we're talking about is how the country has.
How does it drift?
Yes.
Yeah, it's drifting. It's drifting in its own identity, but it's drifting apart in the middle of that. So yeah, is the United States, is it our call to be the world police and settle all the fights? And then, you know, I think the more that we find out about maybe what has happened in the shadows in the middle of all that, and we have a little bit of distance from different events over the last 50 years, we say, um, has the United States truly been altruistic in its endeavors uh, abroad and even domestically, uh, or do we need to look closer behind the curtain and maybe take care of the sin in our own house before we go
Picking
romp?
out the
Yeah,
cinders in other people's
exactly.
houses.
Yeah, so I think there's a bit of that. Gen X is generally pretty patriotic, but in a little more cynical way than
The boomers.
the boomers. Yeah. And so
I thought
there's
I
a little
thought
more suspicion.
I thought about, I listened to the commentary from the what we would call the alt-right,
Mm,
maybe MAGA media.
yeah.
I don't even know
I
what
don't,
word's going to
I
stick,
don't,
but
right, right.
part of it was, it was an ongoing theme that this political assassination, was going to make Charlie Kirk a much more important figure than it would have been. Kind of like if you strike me down,
Why?
Darth, I'll be more
Yeah,
powerful than you'll
yeah,
ever know.
right.
But that, that the youth, the younger people that were
Mm-hmm.
into this idea, that they need to be galvanized
Yeah,
into action. And I'm going to just say,
yeah.
and this is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
This is not probably going to be the last of these. And
No.
I'm going to tell you that my generation,
Yeah,
there was no more idealistic generation than the hippie generation.
yeah.
And it took 4 assassinations to turn my generation into the coldest, cold-hearted, most self-interested and afraid group of people maybe
Sure,
that ever walked this planet.
sure.
But when you see John Kennedy, Malcolm X, Bobby Kennedy,
Bobby
and
Kennedy,
Martin
right.
Luther King all get shot, right? Your
Yeah.
leadership, the people that were bringing about change,
Yep.
like Charlie Kirk,
Right.
and they get
Yeah.
and they get shot down.
Yep.
And who's going to say that was 4 coordinated assassinations?
Mm-hmm.
I am, and I'm going to tell you why.
Right.
Because there's a plan out there I don't understand, and we take things a little bit too human from time to time.
Sure.
So for some reason, this is just my opinion. Those
Mm-hmm.
4, I was there. I remember what it felt like when John Kennedy died. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then they
A
have it
shot to
follow
the
up.
American heart,
Well, they're all
But,
the 4
yeah.
martyrs. Okay,
Yeah.
so now we have this new period.
Yep. Yep.
So let's not be so sure that this will galvanize people,
Yeah.
because it could equally scare them,
It
like it
could.
did my
It could.
generation.
I think though, in the reason Charlie was so incredibly effective is he was starting to fight well, for lack of a better word, and it's people understand it, the wokeness of the last 25 years of you're a young man, you're a young woman, you know, you need to learn to know who you are. There is right and wrong. There is a moral authority that you're accountable to. But even if you don't believe in that moral authority, if you don't believe in God, um, you can still uh, build your society by understanding the value of each person. I you could boil a lot of what Charlie Kirk did down to his understanding of the value of life. He's very, very pro-life. It's one of his biggest, you know, topics of conversation, even from the beginning of Turning Point, is pro-life. And then from there, obviously, the last 5 years, transgenderism has been the biggest topic, taking the biggest stage. But I guess the question is, with that in mind about Charlie, is has that taken effect? Has what he was messaging and what he led, because truly, I don't think anybody's going to deny that he was probably the biggest voice impacting uh, Gen Z in the way of understanding. You could call it conservatism, but a champion of the voice for Gen Z, especially young men, kind of in the same, in a completely different but same vein as Jordan Peterson has affected people uh, about, you have a responsibility to live your life well, to take care of the people weaker than you, um, to build a society on good principles and values. And you can put that into a Christian context, you can put it into a secular context, whatever you want. But you have a responsibility to build your society in a positive way.
Well, that's a a meaning. What is positive?
Right. Well,
Okay,
sure.
so
Sure.
this is where I'm going to say,
Yeah.
okay, because like I said, I spent quite a bit of time just going over
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk's,
Yep.
because he's left a body of work, right?
Mhm.
And what I found,
Most of it is documented on X, Instagram, and
but what I found
any
out
other
is what he,
any other
what he,
place.
when you say what is good,
Mm-hmm.
he was thoroughly
He was
grounded in
very grounded.
biblical principles,
100%.
and he pulled them out
Yep.
every time.
It was the backbone of what he would speak about. Absolutely.
And you know what was interesting? I did this, Tanner. I put in the search, Charlie Kirk's most controversial statements.
Yeah.
And I did this because there's a commentator who's a Republican
Yeah.
named Edward Dowd, who was a commentator on
Yeah.
MSNBC. He's a rabid anti-Trumper, I think part of the Lincoln Project. And he
Yeah.
right away
the
came out
Lincoln
and
Trust.
said, and I don't want to quote it, I can't quote it exactly,
Sure.
but the gist was he had it coming. And they fired him. MSNBC fired him. I mean, immediately,
Yeah.
because, Charlie Kirk obviously has a lot of juice
You're right.
with a lot of people.
Yep.
And he's not the only person, obviously, that said it, so he's the fall
Mhm.
guy. But I went back and looked at quite a few clips.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, we can assume why he was killed, but that
Mhm.
would be because we're meaning-making machines.
Right.
We don't know. I mean, it wasn't because he was, a leftist.
It wasn't because he was evil.
I mean, it was, but I mean, the motivations
on
of
your point
why
of
he
view.
was killed,
Right.
who killed him, we really don't know.
No.
But we can make up a story and say,
Sure.
he was promoting biblical Republican values, and even
Absolutely.
said and quoted one of the founding fathers.
Yep.
I think it was Adams, that this Constitution, and he said it, this Constitution and its
Yeah.
formation of this government is
It-
only for Christian
It
people,
only works
and
with
it's
the
wholly
Christian
inadequate
people. Yeah.
for any other group.
Right. Yep.
And he was, I think, preaching about restoring.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was doing it in not in a top-down way. He was doing
No.
it, trying to live an example.
Yep.
And exposing an
Yep.
ideology,
Right.
Christian ideology, to a secular group of children.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, that's fair.
I mean, but they,
that's fair.
Really, you're a man when you're 13,
Mhm.
12, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we extend childhood. And
Yes.
so these are
In the West, for sure.
And so these are young people that really are searching to form an identity.
Right.
And they're doing it really without the input, this generation
Yep.
of religion
Mm-hmm.
or spirituality, Christianity, whatever.
Whatever you want to do.
Words.
Yep.
But it seems to me to be far more lacking than it was when I was that age.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can look at media, you can look at whatever you want. It's a pretty clear-cut difference between 40 years ago, 30 years ago, and today, as far as the all-inclusive attention to media, whether digital, television, whatever. And it hasn't been a positive effect on society.
Is the number of people that self-profess as being Christians on the rise now?
There has been a momentum built over the last couple of years. I don't know the exact stats as to
Well, I mean,
what
I'm
that
reading
is.
things like there's all these people
Yeah.
joining the Catholic Church, young
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
And I'm
I
wondering, in your ministry, are you seeing
Yeah.
an influx of young people coming in?
Yes, and I mean, yes and no. I think you could find out. It is something I would love to see, at least for the Twin Cities, what that movement is like. Um, but I think there has been a clear move, a clear change, especially, I said it before, that young men are finding an identity that's bigger than themselves, and a lot of it is through the movement towards Christ, knowing Christ and knowing who they are, who they're created to be, in the image of Christ, and to the obedience, even more than that, obedience to Christ. And I believe the more you find that happening, the direction of society is going to change, for the better. Because the young men, I think the emasculation of the male in the last 25. I mean, you could go back to the lib movement in the 70s and talk about how the role of a man has changed in the West. Um, and I think that pendulum has started swinging back the other way when men, young men especially, are learning to embrace the differences between a man and a woman and the responsibility that a man has, to lead, to have good moral fiber, to have quality of character, and to build something bigger than himself. And that really only goes in a good direction when Christ is part of the equation.
And it would seem that Charlie Kirk is the
He's
evidence
one
of
of the
that.
templates, yeah, for sure.
A template. That's a very good uh, way to phrase it.
Hmm.
I'll tell you what I thought about, because I have a young audience, and I know a lot of people don't really know a lot about prayer or religion. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just know they don't.
Hmm.
And in a certain sense, I think, well, bully for you, you haven't had to figure it out yet, which
Yeah,
means you're still living on,
yeah.
you're living on your mother's love there,
Hmm.
partner.
Hmm.
But people run into these traumas in their life, and then they have to decide,
Yeah.
how am I going to, because I don't think anybody really gets out unscathed.
Hmm.
I think that's just the way the thing is built.
No. Yeah.
So people have not, I think in your generation, Tanner, maybe not you, because you have a religious background, but I would say your age group, generally speaking, doesn't have the same religious immersion that my generation did.
Yeah, because I also think that unfortunately it started happening in the Gen X
Yeah.
because a lot of
Oh yeah.
parents really don't lead their kids. At least that's what I saw.
Was
Hmm.
that the boomers' kids?
Yeah, Gen X, I assume, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well for sure, because the boomers, we are completely. I'm just going to say the boomers. This is the people that run the
Yeah.
Republican Party in Minnesota. We're great for
Hmm.
waving an Israeli flag and having
Hmm.
a prayer to Christ before the meeting.
Hmm.
And we'll all say we went to church and we believe in
Right.
God.
Right.
I love this one meme. There's this meme on X.
Hmm.
The people that say they believe in God. And it's this long line.
Yeah.
People that follow God's word. A couple of guys stumbling along
Right.
their
Right.
path.
Right. Yep.
So we got here for a reason. I mean,
Right.
the reason we're in the spot we're in
Hmm.
is because the ball got dropped along the way.
Well,
And, it didn't
oh
happen
yeah.
by accident.
No, it didn't. It didn't. I would say in the boomer generation and young gen or early Gen X was a complete conviction, to believe in USA. I think the United States became the god
That's an
of the
that's an
generation.
Mm.
interesting. That's because I've been saying this about Zionism.
Mm-hmm.
It functions for some people
Yeah.
as a substitute for faith.
Right.
I'm not trying to
Yeah.
impugn Zionism.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if you have a void,
Right.
you can just pop that in there
Absolutely.
and, I've checked
Yeah.
the box.
And if you don't think that between World War II and the 90s, that in a lot of circles, uh, the idea of the United States and being a Christian was conflated and completely merged, I mean, you'd be mistaken. And so I
And
think,
now
it's
not.
not anymore.
But Charlie Clerk,
Yeah.
when you put in his most controversial
Yeah.
statements,
Yep.
that was the number one thing
Yeah.
he was talking about.
Yeah.
And so, and then he's accused of being a white Christo nationalist, et cetera, and so on. It's things we can talk about. But I wanted to get out something about why religion.
Mm-hmm.
Because, if things are going along pretty good,
Yep.
like this young man,
Yeah.
he's got his family going, he's got a
Yeah.
beautiful daughter, he's
Yeah.
he's making progress,
Way to go, Tanner.
Thanks, man.
but, he hasn't run into he has, but I mean, for me, when I was 29,
Mm-hmm.
I was dying.
Yeah.
So I had this moment where I had is this the end right here?
Right.
Right now, I've
Yeah.
got to make a decision.
Right.
What am I going to believe? What am I going to do? Because they're telling me what my odds are, and they're not. Hey, anytime you go to a doctor, if they tell you got a 90% chance of living,
Mm-hmm.
you'll freak out. When they start going to 50,
Yeah.
50-50,
Yeah.
you're going to be pressed.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is what I thought about this, because I saw the close-up of his
Yeah.
assassination.
Yeah.
First of all, life's not promised to anybody,
Mm-mm.
which, I mean, this is something and it gets easier and easier
Right.
to figure that out as you get older and older. But there's new scientific findings that the brain
Mm-hmm.
holds on to consciousness long after the assignment of death as
Right.
a mark.
Yep.
In other words,
Yep.
death is just another one of those things
Mm.
that's culture bound. When we say you're dead,
Yeah.
you're dead,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not really dead.
But
You go on for quite a while.
Yep.
And I'm thinking to myself when I'm watching this thing,
Yeah.
man, his brain, and I think here's what I think to myself, and it's emotional. It's like I'm
Yeah.
laying there,
Yeah.
I'm dead. I know I'm dead.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I can do
Mm-hmm.
except review what I've done.
Yeah.
And they talk about that, right? Like in the
Right.
moment of death, you
Right.
get this vision, but then you can't do anything.
Yep.
And we're all fallen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care how beautiful this man's life
Right.
was. And
Right.
I mean, there's things he can think about where he goes, oops.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to be like,
Yeah.
and I can't imagine,
Yeah.
a motivation for people to be involved in
Yeah.
faith.
Yep.
How would you like to be in that moment?
Right.
Faithless. You can't
yeah.
do a single thing. No one's coming to the rescue. If you don't believe there's an afterlife, you're
Mhm.
ticking out
Yep.
it's like the Wizard of Oz. The sands are coming through the hourglass.
Right. Right.
And what a terrifying, horrifying
Yeah.
last bits of consciousness.
Yeah.
I think religion is a lot about those minutes.
Absolutely.
Am I right? Because I know
I agree. And I mean, listening to Charlie Kirk over the last 10 years, I know that his spirit was at peace. I'm sure he was thinking about his wife and kids. But his eternal destination, there was no second guessing.
because he
what was happening.
built that.
Yeah.
I mean, he created that.
Yeah.
In watching him, it sounded to me like he had a conversion at
Mhm.
some point.
Yeah.
That he made a decision
Oh yeah.
to devote his life. Because he talked about
Absolutely.
the best decision he ever made in his life was to submit his life.
His life to Christ.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And he said, they asked him, because he had one of those tabletop things
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Why do you know that you've done? Why do you say? And he just
Yeah.
said, look, there's never been any kind of scientific discovery,
Mm-hmm.
anthropological, historical, that has contradicted what's in the Bible. A,
Right.
that's what he said.
Yeah.
B, he said the original witnesses of Christ's resurrection were
Yep.
women. And at that time, if you wanted to be credibly received, you wouldn't say women
You wouldn't
saw
say
it.
women saw.
So that was a second. And then he
Yeah.
said, forget all about that spiritual stuff. Let's just look at the wisdom of the book.
Yep.
If you ensue this wisdom,
Yeah.
your life will be
Your
better.
life will be better.
Let's not make it too
Yeah.
complicated.
Absolutely.
Follow this roadmap.
Yep.
And all your paths will be paths
Mhm.
of peace. You'll have long life and you'll be satisfied.
Yeah.
And once you've done that, all other things will be added on to you.
Right.
It's a very simple equation,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
So
I'm already convinced. You don't.
no,
Yeah.
but I'm saying
Yeah.
for there's so many people that
Yeah.
are listening
Yeah.
that aren't convinced.
For sure.
They're here.
Yeah.
They're here because there's no place else
Yeah.
for them to go. They don't want to go down to the church
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
For what? Yeah. And I feel like that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people right now. Church doors have been closing on a rapid pace for probably 20 years and accelerated since COVID. It's hundreds of churches a day close their doors in America permanently. But that is a question of, and I'll put this to you, David, is the church as an organization functioning as a meeting place for Christians to get their religious duty checked off the list every Sunday? Or is the church, and I say this the big C, at least in America, has the church been serious about its mission to take the message outside of the walls? Has it been a religious club? Whereas you can say, I did my religious duty.
Check the box.
Check the box. I went to church, so my conscience can be it can be assuaged, or is the church, the people of God, are they about the mission of sharing the message of the cross and the hope that we have through Him? And there's lots of Christians and that have embraced that mission in America that's been on the decline of what is the mission of your church? Is it to have a really successful Christian culture club, or is it to help people find who they are in
The
Christ?
CCC.
Yeah,
I like that. We got to get a trademark
Yeah,
on that,
there you
man.
go.
I think the church is not
Hmm.
outreaching.
No.
It's not stretching out. It's not going where it needs to go.
Well, it's run into a cultural pushback. Like I said, church and Christian and United States started becoming synonymous around the world. Over the last 100 years, but there's been a pushback in recent
Well,
history, and that is the church has had to find out whether it is a religious organization or if there is a true difference between being religious and being an actual follower of Christ.
yeah, you were bringing up some very potent issues, and we were talking before we went
Mhm.
on about this terrible event, and
Yeah.
we agree
Yeah.
to the extent that we are submitting to
Yeah.
Christ. It's kind of like the bigger the government, the
Yep.
smaller the person.
Oh yeah.
Only it's within the real context
Yeah.
is the bigger the faith,
Right.
the smaller the sin.
Absolutely.
The great,
Yeah.
and so we miss that, and I always ask myself, what can I do, because I'm doing so much. I mean, I
Mhm.
know that I'm
Mhm.
doing way more than
You're doing what you're called to do, David.
I'm doing what I'm called.
You are.
But I'm also saying to myself, what is the most important thing I can do? And the most
Mhm.
important thing I can do is
Yeah.
internal,
Yeah.
is my own
Yep.
submission to faith in God. I mean,
Yep.
that's it's like, what's the most important thing when you have kids? Raising them.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
it,
Yeah.
if I fail on the number one
Yep.
primary deal,
Right.
The rest of it's just a show and tell story.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had this godmother, Georgine Moore, who used to say, "We'll be patient with you because God's not through with you yet." And
Yeah.
I'd say, "Thank you, Mom."
Yeah.
So, I mean, but you start to get long in the tooth and you go,
Mm.
how much patience do I need? But the
Yeah.
church, the synagogue,
Yep.
the people of faith, first of all, the divisions.
Mm-hmm. Oh
When the
boy.
most controversial comments of Charlie Kirk is him reading passages or
Right.
reciting passages
Right.
from the Bible,
Yep.
then we know that it really is
Yeah.
two ideologies
Yeah.
in conflict.
Yeah.
And the one ideology we don't think of as a religion, but it is a secular religion.
Mm-hmm.
It has all the hallmarks of a religion anthropologically. So
Yeah.
these two worldviews are in
In
conflict.
conflict.
And they're
for
in
sure.
conflict.
Right.
But we as believers can't really. I'm looking at the stuff.
Yeah.
Young people coming because we're going to war.
Right.
Man, the war first of all is inside.
Yep. Yep.
Let's get our own spiritual house in order
Yeah.
as American people.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some signatories for that.
Yeah.
Could we actually outreach? Now, the church this year has a
Yeah.
new IRS rule.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a game changer, or is that kind of a snoozer?
To me, I think it's a little bit of an afterthought. I think I don't know how much of a change that's going to make.
It could
in
potentially.
reality. It could potentially. Well, we'll see. I think it's less of the conversation than
What they're making it out to be.
yeah.
What we're talking about is the IRS is it a final rule change, or it's still under?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
There's a rule change either proposed or adopted
Mm-hmm.
where people of faith, their
Mhm.
ministers, their preachers, their rabbis, their imams,
Right.
can actually endorse
Right.
candidates
Yep.
and be political in the pulpit without the threat
Without the threat
of them losing their 501c3 status, their
Right.
tax exempt status.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Well. It really depends on the side of the aisle that you support. There's many outspoken religious leaders over the last 25 years that were very comfortable supporting a left-leaning candidate. But if you started supporting a right side candidate, you were in trouble. Our church experienced that over the last 15 years.
Within the parishioners, the polarization from
Well, no, I mean Mac Hammond got tried to get audited by the IRS.
he beat him.
He beat the rep, or not the rep, but he beat he said we're not going to do that, and took the IRS to court and won. So
since you've mentioned
yeah,
Mac Hammond
yeah,
for the first time,
yeah.
this is a very, very significant community that you're part of.
Mm-hmm.
How many families in Minnesota alone?
Yeah. How many families? I would say the active membership is in Minnesota is 5,000-6,000 people.
Giant.
Yeah.
Beautiful church.
Yeah.
Beautiful school.
We got an active online following. Online church is around 700 to 1,000. Depends on the week, but it's usually.
And then this church is all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's. So yeah, it's my church is not a stranger to kind of that controversy when it comes to the
when you have
conflict
that
of
many people,
religion and
when you have that many people,
right,
and then you take a stand, you're going to be controversial.
Right. Absolutely.
And Mac Hammond is famous. For those of you that don't know him,
right,
you look around,
right?
Because I remember being young. He's a little bit older than me.
He is a little bit.
He had the Winner's Minute. Winner's
Minute.
Decades
older.
Saturday morning.
Yep.
We used to have this little trivia.
In the 90s, for sure.
Oh, we used to start out the day with the Little Rascals.
Mm-hmm.
This was on the local channel. The Little Rascals. and we'd switch over to my favorite, the Three Stooges,
Uh-huh.
and then we would have I can't remember what it was called, but it was a 15-minute show. Think about how old this is. 15 minutes on local aviation. Local aviation.
Okay.
And at the end of that 15 minutes, we had the winner's moment
the
with
winner's
Mac
minute.
Yep,
The winner's
with Mac
minute.
Hammond. And
Yeah.
he didn't come across. I mean, you knew
Yeah.
he was switched on to something,
Oh, for sure.
but he wasn't like in this overtly
Yeah.
Christian frame. It was
Yeah.
the winner's minute.
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
a young man
Yeah.
working on. I'm thinking, wow,
Yeah.
this is great.
The whole goal was to bring principles from the Bible, because those will, if you employ these principles from the Word of God,
You'll be
you
a
will
winner.
be successful. You will win.
Which is what Charlie Kirk has been saying,
Exactly. Yep.
right?
Yep. Yeah. Well, and I've heard Charlie say it, and I think it applies to this bigger conversation. Is as a believer, we are not wrestling against flesh and blood. We're wrestling against principalities and powers and rulers of darkness of this present age. And I think that was why Charlie was able to have those hard conversations, is because just because someone has a different opinion than him, or has a different view, he didn't see them as an adversary. He saw them as someone who was lost or had lost their way,
Trapped.
who needed some hope, and telling them that they were right in their in what they were pursuing, as that was going to fix their life, was not going to help them. And
Well,
so
this
telling the truth,
you're into it now.
Yeah.
I mean, you've stepped into the briar patch
Yep.
with that one.
Yeah.
In the sense that, you look at, and we were talking about this on the last Professor Penn podcast, which I want to say for those of you who are here listening,
Mhm.
please repost the links.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to get a lot of play unless you play. This
Yep.
is about us, all of us together, working to
Mhm.
promote, to grow
Yeah.
this concept that
Yep.
there is principles, spiritual principles,
Absolutely.
which create a better life. And that's
Mhm.
what we're really arguing about,
Absolutely.
because there is that curse, right? The
Mhm.
curse. Because you've done this thing,
Yeah.
I will increase your pain in childbirth.
Mm-hmm.
You will cleave to your husband, and he will rule over you.
Mm.
Whoa.
Yeah.
If you put yourself in a woman's shoes in 2025,
Right.
and you read that to her,
You're like,
I can understand why you would say,
right.
I'm rejecting this project.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm going to say on my side of the football, with the sweat of my brow,
Right.
I will earn my daily bread, and from dust I came, and to dust I will return. And is this not the essence of
Mhm.
our scientific New World Order culture,
Right.
where that organization, that curse, because, women and men were equal
Mm-hmm.
before the fall.
Yep.
But you got to live out that curse now, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that. You're not ruling over me. Who made you the boss over me? And I sit there and I say to myself,
Mm.
wait a second. I did it 2 times.
Yeah.
I said, you're right. We're not going to do it. And then I'm divorced twice
Mhm.
because it doesn't work.
Mhm.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. I'm not
Absolutely.
saying it's that I did it right or wrong. I'm just saying my experience, to tell the story ex post facto.
Yeah.
The right organization that is suggested, or not the right, but the organization that suggested, God, man,
Yep.
women, children. We didn't do it. We were striving for 50-50,
Mm-hmm.
and it was 50-50 and out.
Yeah.
So, and then now I'm in a different situation,
Mm.
and I say, hey, don't hate the player, hate the game. I didn't make
Yeah.
these rules,
Right.
but we're not going to roll off the road this time.
Yeah.
But but then I got to deal with,
Yeah.
I am really struggling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I say struggling, I mean, I really am working with the sweat of my brow to make all this go.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking I got all these skills and all this ability. Man, so what does the New World Order offer us? It offers us equality, and it offers us immortality, scientific immortality.
They're all lies.
Well, isn't that interesting that you can
Yeah.
say that so easily?
Oh yeah.
Because I know
Absolutely.
there's a lot of people Tanner's age that think
Hmm.
that the promises of the Bible is a lie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at the New Testament,
Wait, slow. A
yeah,
lot of people my age
sure.
think the Bible is just a,
Yeah.
check the box
Wow.
deal.
Look at that religious text, and I have nothing to do with it.
I'm checking the box.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you bring up men and women, and the Apostle Paul. Well, I mean, you look at how the church ran. Um, some people think that the Bible suggests that women shouldn't speak in church. It's definitely not what it says. So sometimes the Bible gets a bad rap. I talked about Deborah, who's one of the judges of Israel. She was the highest power in Israel for her time, um, leading and even to war. So, but you look at the New Testament, and Paul talks about a man and a woman, and when they come together in marriage, and he does say to wives, submit yourselves to your husband, but he tells the son, the husband, to be just like Christ is for the church, to be ready to give his life, to lay down his life for his wife.
Shield, cover, and protect.
That's right. So, uh, you remove everything special about a man and a woman if you tell everyone that they're the exact same. And if they're not the same, they're going to have different roles, and they're going to find peace and happiness in different ways. Uh, when God created Eve, he said that she was going to be a helpmeet. God made Eve for Adam so that they would cover each other. She would fit and be able to fill in the places where he was not complete, and vice versa. That Adam would be the one to fit in the places that Eve could not complete. And that's been the true story of men and women since the beginning. But to try to convince everybody that each of them are replaceable, um, in a relationship, it's a lie. And so you find people not able to find peace because they are searching for something that doesn't exist.
Why would you tell that lie?
uh, to sow discord and disharmony, and to leave an entire culture away from the truth and peace and happiness and love, the fulfillment of,
And who would benefit from this?
well, there's really one which is, I mean, I'll call him Satan. There are forces that want humanity not to find God, because God has love for each person, and for a person, for someone, every person that is not able to find God, it hurts God's heart. God is a God of love, and it hurts his heart for his people, for any human to be in pain, and they're only going to find peace through that relationship with him.
So if you're saying that it hurts God's heart,
Hmm.
the lost sheep hurts.
Yeah,
Hurts. And
absolutely.
if you get all the sheep to be lost,
Right.
could you actually damage God? Could that be part of the spiritual
That's part of the
intent?
war.
The
Yeah.
war?
That's part of the spiritual
At that
war.
level.
At that level.
If we
right.
could have
on
any
the
insight,
macro.
if we could have
Yep.
any insight into
Yep.
it, which I tend not to want to go there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say at the individual level, I don't really
Mm.
need a government,
Mm.
myself personally,
Right.
because I've submitted myself to a course of action.
Right.
So I'm constrained in what I'll do
Hmm.
by my course of action.
Right.
And could I be moved out of that and do something that would violate that? Yeah, it can happen. I'm not saying I'm perfect or that,
Right.
because I don't know
Right.
what circumstances would come.
Hmm.
But mostly, I don't need a very big government because I'm gonna pay my taxes.
Right.
For example,
Yeah.
I don't steal any money
Right.
just because I'm not going to.
Right.
You know, so if I was interested in ruling over people
Hmm.
and profiting from them
Yeah.
and turning them into inventory,
Yeah.
I'd have to break
You'd have to break
their
that
submission,
system.
that
Yeah.
system, because that system
Yeah.
frees people
Exactly.
from other men.
Exactly.
We're submitting ourselves to God.
Yeah.
There's a benefit in that. One of the many benefits is I'm not ruled over by somebody just like me.
Mm-hmm.
What makes
Yeah.
a politician better than me, or a celebrity better than me,
Right.
or a billionaire better than me, such that they can rule over me?
Mm-hmm.
And when I believe in God, even if because I am a humble, I mean, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a child of God, and these
Mm-hmm.
people don't have any purchase on me.
Yeah.
I really don't care what they say.
Yeah.
I only care that I try to live up to that path that I've
Yeah.
chosen.
Yeah.
So I'm self-governing.
Right.
Man, if you could
Yeah.
get everybody to give that up, they'd want to be ruled.
Which
We
is
need to be organized.
it's one of the biggest problems that the left had with Charlie is Charlie Kirk admitted freely that he was a sinner and he was not perfect, and that's why he needs God. That's why he needs Jesus. I know that that's one of the biggest things that he was able to freely say is there is a higher authority and I've missed the mark. And so if he can, him being out there to be able to say that and say, I don't have my opinions just to fulfill my own desire to be right, you know, but to say that there is a higher authority that we're all subject to. He's starting to become a dangerous man from a certain point of view, because if he can get the youth moving in a direction of starting to submit their lives to a higher authority, to God, that's a culture changing moment.
And then linking that
Yeah,
to republicanism,
absolutely.
which actually
Which
is the link.
It is the link.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I listened to I
Yeah.
listened to all of I'm going to play this on next week's podcast. There's a short going around where they have all these news anchors from all these local news stations all over the
Mhm.
country, and they all say the same
The
thing.
same thing.
And they say
over-
dangerous to
yeah.
our democracy, dangerous to our
Right.
democracy,
Right.
dangerous, which goes back to
Yep.
your trip down to Lincoln's birthplace,
Yeah.
where you got upset or became sensitized to the fact that the books you were looking at in the bookstore talked about Lincoln saving the democracy.
Yeah.
And then we came in with the Bixby letter. He didn't talk about saving the democracy. He came in with saving the republic.
Mm,
The Republican Party was his creation,
yeah.
and Republican means something
Yep.
to those people. It means something very different now,
Yeah.
but it meant something very different
Very, very
in
different.
1854. And it meant self-governance.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason you could self-govern is because you were faithful.
Right.
Now,
Goes back
I'm
to Adams, exactly what you quoted earlier.
and I'm going to say
Yeah.
this too. There's a unification that's going to come.
Mhm.
I believe that.
Yeah.
There's conflict. We're in a period of high conflict. It waxes and wanes. There's unifying issues.
Yeah.
Okay, so unifying issues, what makes people well?
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who
Yeah.
are watching, you're leftist, you think, kind of an
Mm-hmm.
ass. We're going to agree, the two of us, from
Yeah.
our own personal experiences,
Yeah.
that by pursuing this kind of formation of our lives, we're better
Yeah.
in our own eyes.
Yeah.
And I get a kick out of, man, I got people that are not believers, because I'm like, I don't want to say I'm like Charlie Kirk, but I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care at all. And I'm not threatened. And I like to hear what people have to say. And
Yeah.
you know what I find interesting? People that don't believe in God
Mm-hmm.
don't believe in sin.
Right.
It happened.
Where does the concept of right and wrong come from? Because everything's relative. If there is no right and wrong,
That's a whole podcast.
that is a whole podcast.
That's you've really staked out some future. That's a classic. Where does it come from?
Well, ask the people that don't believe in God. I think that's the question. Anyone who does understands that there's a moral compass. There's a moral right and wrong, and you can boil it down to sin. You can boil it down to whatever. I mean, that's some philosophical questions that you can ask and answer
This
as a
is
Christian or
th-
not a Christian.
this is a critical thing
Right.
because I know people that say I follow constitutional law
Mm-hmm.
as if that is the
Yeah.
code.
Right.
And I'm going to
Right.
tell you, constitutional law has been evolving
Uh-huh.
through our
Yeah.
judicial system.
Yeah.
And in many areas, it no longer reflects
Right.
the spiritual laws
Mm-hmm.
upon which it was originally based.
Right. Yeah.
And so to say I follow, it's legal to do a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that's
Well,
not
you
good for you.
definitely can. Yeah. And it probably won't actually make you happy in the long run either. But the idea of right and wrong is written in the heart of every person. And if they're willing to be honest uh, about the natural order of things, to murder another is, we kind of talked about this last time, and I said even to a child, right and wrong is easy to spell out, because once you've experienced a wrong, you know exactly what it feels like, and you know exactly what it is. You may not have understood it as a child, but once someone takes what is yours, all of a sudden you have felt and you have experienced wrong, right? So there is a natural understanding that every person has. The Bible says that it's, all creation knows that there's a God, that there's a creator. So it's written in our hearts. But the Bible spells out exactly what it is, and that code to live by.
So if
But
you want, if you
it's
want,
never fulfilled by fulfilling your own desires.
if you want to blow that system up,
Mm-hmm.
it stands on certain fundamentals.
Absolutely.
And if you wanted to take down a building,
Mm-hmm.
like they have those controlled demos,
Yeah.
aren't
Yeah.
those exciting? We could just
They
play
are. Yeah.
5 minutes of those on some podcast. Don't you love that when those buildings come down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see those little
I mean, like Building 7.
Okay,
This,
let's see.
this is on the anniversary of, so maybe we should.
You know what? That's how
I
interesting.
thought that was exactly where you're going. I thought this was a long.
I thought you were too.
I was.
You look
but
surprised.
No, I was trying to leave it. I was trying to,
leave it unsaid.
I was trying to leave it unsaid without getting pinned.
Uh-huh.
As because I have this public persona,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody will jump up and say Penn's a conspiracy theorist, and my
it doesn't
statement.
seem too conspiracy nowadays.
If you're looking at the films,
Uh-huh.
it seems a little anyhow.
Yeah.
But it's amazing when these buildings come down
Yep.
because the people that bring them down
Mm.
know how to bring them down, and we've got this architecture
Yeah.
called the United States of America. This kind of ideational concept that we really
Mhm.
can't get our arms wrapped around,
Right.
which is based on a religious past, which very few of us can get our arms wrapped around. There are
Right.
some people
Yep.
that put it all together.
Yeah.
And then there's people on the other side of the football that say, man, I don't believe this. This is, or for whatever reason, it could be purely demonic actually,
Mhm.
but they've known how to selectively over a couple hundred years
Mm-hmm.
take down this architecture and damn near destroy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it can be completely unrecognizable to what it started off as. That's for sure.
And then we were talking about this morning, Tanner. Now with AI, I mean, it
Mhm.
used to take a couple hundred years
Oh,
of
sure.
scholarship to really screw up people's
Right.
minds.
Right.
Now, a couple of days,
Mm.
you could probably get it done because AI is going to be so omnipresent and so powerful as far as shifting the Overton window and changing what people think. But if you take a look at the traditional life that Charlie Kirk was really
Yeah.
his most controversial statements.
Yeah.
And people would fight him and he'd just look at him with that
Yeah.
personality.
Yeah.
And he was so cool about it. And I could see
Yeah.
how cool he was. He was cool. Royce's thing is that Republicans aren't cool.
Yeah.
That's why we lose.
Yeah.
Because we got a bunch of 462-year-old fossils leading the charge. And,
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like saying, well, wait a second. Here's what it says. And then somebody'd say, yeah, but why is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell you why I think it's right.
Yeah.
I've lived through this thing.
Mm.
You're a 79 baby.
Yeah.
What year were you born?
2000.
2000.
Attaboy.
Okay. You know, I was born in the 50s, so this experiment really came into prime time
Yeah.
in the 60s with the death of Kennedy
Yep.
and the Great Society with Johnson and the financialization of the dollar with Nixon in 72. And by the time we got to the mid-70s, this thing we're in right now was off to the races.
Yeah.
And I've watched it. And I've experimented with it because I come from a leftist family. And
Mhm.
I was part of the left. For all the people in the Republican Party that want to say I'm a leftist, no, I'm not.
Mm-mm.
And let me just tell you something so you know this. Traditionally, and I don't know if it's true in evangelical communities, but in traditional communities, a person who has great faith in God and
Mhm.
always stayed in the flock is a holy person.
Mm.
If you go out and you get lost out there
Right.
and you come back, higher level of respect where I come from,
Yeah.
because you got your ass back in the
Yeah.
flock,
Yeah.
which takes some work.
It does.
I will attest to that. So, and then it's much more likely that if you've lost it and you found yourself in the wilderness, probably not going to make that mistake again
Yeah.
because you know what it feels like to be separated.
Yep.
Whereas if you never get that separation, you're still a setup
Absolutely.
for a temptation.
Yep.
So,
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
so this whole thing of taking people out.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm going to go in a different direction. Taking people out by destroying the architecture of what traditionally people have said. Just take a look at it. Okay, so first, the primary creation myth of our culture
Mhm.
is the origin of the species.
Mhm.
It's not Genesis.
Yeah.
It was Genesis
It
for
was.
thousands of years.
Yep.
And somehow the British government funded research and scholarship that ended up with,
Mhm.
they don't teach
Right.
Genesis
Right.
in the public schools. They
Right.
teach the origin of the species.
Yeah.
Kind of takes God out of the equation.
It sure does.
Okay, you got that one.
Yep.
Boom. That's a fundamental.
Mhm.
Okay. Women, I know you're listening. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to pick a fight.
No.
But I'm not picking a fight. I'm just being
No.
a commentator.
Yep.
That Adamic curse, I'm telling you, I get it.
Yep.
That's a crappy
Mhm.
thing to have to deal with. I
Mhm.
get it, particularly when the man, when he rules over you, does it unjustly,
Mhm.
which happened a lot.
Yeah.
So that's a failure of
For
masculinity.
sure. Absolutely.
So that will bring about a revolt.
Yeah.
But when we take it into this Roe versus Wade frame,
Yeah.
and you take the dominion over life and death from the Lord
Yeah.
and put it in the hands of the citizens,
Yep.
whoa, there's a fundamental blown to pieces,
100%.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Those are the pillars,
Yeah.
that God created the world, and therefore God is the master of life and death. And
Mhm.
look at this sensational,
Yeah.
targeted, laser-guided munitions
Yep.
thrown right into the faith of the people.
Torpedoes right at the foundation.
And successful.
Yeah.
And then you have all the ancillary ones
Mhm.
like gender,
Right.
like look at what and men, back to dust.
You're right. Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
here forever.
I want to be.
Yeah.
So it's been so
Yeah.
carefully done. And this is why I say, to me, this is an evidence of a supernatural element because this is a project that's gone on over a couple hundred years.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So actually a couple thousand years.
Couple thousand.
So we're dealing
Few
with
thousand.
something that is how could human beings be this coordinated over time? Okay, so if it's not principalities and powers, we got a real problem in our university system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because scholarship
That's
is
for sure.
But this
Well, scholarship has tend to become. I mean, there's a lot of people that have gone into a university and come out extremely uneducated about the realities of life. I mean, that's a byproduct of everything you're talking about. The universities being a source of confusion for the entire whole of society, where
Well,
it's supposed to be an institution of finding truth and developing
that's
your
where Charlie
understanding of
Kirk was.
wisdom.
That's where he was when he
Yeah,
died. He was on
on
campus.
campus.
And he was coming to the University of
Yeah,
Minnesota, I think, in
he
12 or
was
13
in
days.
on the 21st, I believe he was going to be
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
So, he had the courage
Mm-hmm.
to go.
Yep.
I went last year to I grew up kind of at the University of Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I went there politically last year. And it was very confrontational.
Yeah.
I mean, we were acting because these are young, vigorous people,
Right.
and you go in and you're promoting a kind of philosophy that they are
It
steeped
is
in.
very unpopular.
Oh my goodness! I mean, it was actually one of the more controversial moments that I've experienced politically. But we have to do this, and
Yeah.
so this was the takeaway from yesterday. I mean, this is a giant organization with lots of people involved.
Yeah.
What are we going to do in the Christian community to unify? I mean, this is rhetorical. You don't have to
Yeah.
answer it.
Yeah.
What can I do
Yeah.
through this digital ministry
Mm-hmm.
to have Christians not just unify in the faith,
Yeah.
but actually take the faith into the street, go into the Republican
Right.
Party, and have good people
Yeah.
who are submitted to a
Right.
course of good action
Yep.
dominate our politics
Mm-hmm.
so that all of this inequity is pushed to the margins
Right.
where it's intended to be.
Well, I think, I mean, it's a little bit of a rhetorical question, but I mean, yesterday, I mean, Charlie's aptly named organization is really what I believe this is a turning point. This is a turning point for America to look itself in the face. Yes, for Christians to go, can I do what Charlie has done? Can I go without hubris and have hard conversations, be the love of God in this community, but also embrace what is true? To let someone disagree with me, but continue to love them and know that God loves them, and be willing to speak the truth and work it out without any hubris, without any ego, but to simply speak the truth. And Charlie was so good at that. Christians have to do that also. Um, the most important message that a Christian can share is the love of Christ. And the love of Christ is beyond any personal accomplishment in themselves. To be able to share the love of Christ, that is what will change somebody's life. That will eventually, it might not initially, but that,
Can I ask you a question?
yeah,
This is a spiritual question.
yeah,
When you say the love of Christ,
yep.
do you mean Christ loving me or me loving Christ?
The love of Christ, understanding that without him, I am a sinner before God, and I am responsible for my sins. But because Jesus lived a perfect, sinless life and gave himself, was killed, was crucified, he became that covenant offering that covers and pays for my sins. I am only right because of the sacrifice that Jesus made. I am only righteous in God's eyes because I have accepted that what Jesus did on the cross has covered my sins. That's the only way that I have. So there's none of me that is good enough in God's eyes. It is only with Christ present in my life as my Savior do I get to stand in front of God. Which is why you can have those conversations and not have ego about it, because none are sinless. All have sinned and fallen short of God's glory. But through Jesus, through that sacrifice that Jesus made on the cross, I can now be counted as righteous.
So that's God's love
That's God's love that
for us.
He would say. Yeah, John 1 or First John 4. It's like God loved us first, that He would send Jesus for us to be that payment for sin.
So along this line,
Mm-hmm.
if someone didn't believe
Mm-hmm.
and they viewed this as a fairy tale,
Yeah,
they'll never see it any other way unless they make that move. Because
absolutely.
unless they take that risk
Mm-hmm.
of hey, maybe this is real. Maybe this will work for me.
Right.
And they don't do. And I thought about this a lot lately.
Yeah.
Why do I sin? Well, and as close as I am,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't judge it for anybody else, but for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making it to you, but for where I am in my life to where
Right.
I've been,
Right.
I have evidence that God loves me.
Yeah.
I mean, I have evidence in my own life.
Right.
And still I'm thinking to myself, man, do I really want to bet all on black here? I think I better lay off because,
Yeah.
this might not work. And then that would
Yeah.
mean he doesn't love me
Mm.
or I didn't live up to, or
Yeah.
whatever. So maybe I better not go all in because it might not work.
Right.
So that's one reason why.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Sure.
or, I don't like the way this is supposed to work.
Yeah.
I don't like your plan for me. I have a different plan for myself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to lay off here.
Yeah.
And what we don't do, I'm talking about myself, what I don't
Yeah.
do, going all in
Mm.
is how you find out it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of a conundrum for the non-believers or the
Yeah.
people that are questioning
Mm-hmm.
because they have to give over.
Yeah.
But see, that's the essence of
You-
republicanism too.
Yeah.
So there's a back door to this. There's a back door. There's a back door.
Okay.
Here's the back door. The philosophy of republicanism is redemptive
Yeah.
in the same sense that being a Christian is, because when you enter the political process to save the republic,
Yeah.
you're giving over to saving your community
Yeah.
because you believe there's forces that are degrading it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, I'm just going to say, if you're on the left and you're
Yeah.
listening, hey, if you're 28 years old and you're looking at this thing,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't always like this.
No.
And blaming it on power structures from the days gone by. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's true. I said it's a failure of
sure.
masculinity,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah.
Like the women saying, I'm not buying this program. Hey, when your husband's beating you, you shouldn't buy the
For sure.
program, right? And
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I was alive in the 60s around very educated people.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the university.
Yeah.
My father taught there. All of his friends were, and I
Mhm.
would say, I don't know, a couple times a year, one of the wives would show up with a black eye
Mm.
from the PhDs. So, when you live like that,
Yeah.
when you act like that, you breed disharmony. So
Right.
it's not.
Right.
So, ladies, I mean, I'm not here to cause a fight, but
Mhm.
I'm saying, if you can't buy the program
Mm-hmm.
and you think it was screwed up because of men and women then,
Absolutely.
but the reaction to it,
Yeah.
to fix it,
Yeah.
it didn't fix it.
No.
I was part of the experiment to fix it. There
Right.
was these problems, like a woman showing up
Right.
with a black eye in 1964
Right.
and sitting there in a Sunday afternoon brunch with all the kids and all the professors and all the women, and nobody said anything.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody said, geez, how'd you get that black eye?
Right.
Nobody even said anything.
It wouldn't have been polite.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Anyhow, so there was a reaction
What was
to
she going
that,
to say anyway?
but there was a reaction.
Yeah.
Let's get organized against systems of patriarchy that are abusive.
Yep.
Very reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get organized against systems of oppression that are racially based. Very reasonable.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get organized against a military-industrial complex that President Eisenhower warned us about in 1961,
Right.
which, as you said, was doing its deal all over the world,
Yeah.
like the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm.
Not righteous.
No.
And so there was this organized resistance that came, which was anti-Christian,
Mm-hmm.
because, as you said, Christianity was associated with America.
Absolutely.
It just didn't bring about better results. I'm all for experiments,
Right. Yeah.
but you got to come to a point where you say, whoop,
Mhm.
this didn't work.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think when you say turning point,
Yeah.
I think people are seeing that it didn't work.
Yeah.
Do you agree with me?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Tanner, do you think people are seeing it's not working?
We're just gonna have to see. I'm I'm just at awe seeing everybody's reaction with it. So I just have to let it. I don't know. I wait and see.
Yeah.
I can't make my judgments yet.
Well, I think for me, it's quite clear it didn't work
Mm.
because I've lived it. I experimented with it and I paid the price.
I think you guys are talking about two different.
I'm sorry. I probably got. I'm. It's just been on
I
my
was
head
talking
so
about
bad.
in your generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your generation seeing that the outcome of 50 or 60 years of liberalism is the prevailing organizing force of the world, particularly the United States?
Some of us, but I wouldn't say at large. I would say at large, a lot of my generation, they're just lost. Kind of like we said a little earlier.
Yeah.
They really don't get it. Their main concern is, oh, I might not have money anymore. So
Mhm.
they really don't see the
They're at
bigger
survival
picture.
level.
They're at
Which
survival level, but they
which will open the door to things like what the World Economic Forum proposes, which is by 2030 to own nothing
yeah.
but be happy.
Yeah, I've
You
been
know,
an
that's
advocate for, at least in my friend group, not even an advocate, I should say, but I've been very vocal
yeah.
about letting people know about the WEF
Yeah.
and all these things, because I'm like, we're sitting here arguing red and blue.
Right.
You
It's
guys,
not the real
this
question.
isn't the real question.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if my generation knows that it's a failed experiment yet, because they are still so stuck on red and blue.
Yeah.
That's all they argue about.
Well, that's
I mean,
go ahead.
it's a mirage. I mean, more or less.
It's a psyop.
It is a psyop. It's, half the time it's a false option, uh, which is why so many people are like, you know, once people get to Washington, it's a uniparty. They're all just playing their roles for the same team, is, it's a long way of the conversation we were talking about.
Well, this is all,
But it's
all part
all
and parcel.
it's all part and parcel because to be able to carry on the charade of maybe the individual is making a difference for red or blue. If you can make people feel hopeless that whatever your option was, then they're going to stop participating, and they're just going to take whatever is handed down to them because whatever side they voted for, it didn't really matter.
This is why government is so much more effective now, because it's
Right.
able to
Right.
deliver a minimum amount of resources
Right.
to keep people from true suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Christianity
Yeah.
was all poor people had
Yep.
when they were suffering.
Right.
But now people don't have to suffer. We'll get them up just high enough that they don't have to start praying. We're gonna just make them
like
stay on the government dole.
right.
But if you really didn't have that, you'd have to pray.
You'd have to. Well,
you would be helpless. Like they say, there's
Yeah.
no atheist in a foxhole.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're starving and when you're at that level, man, so Christianity has always been a religion of the poor.
Well, and that's why the message of the cross is so powerful overseas in places that don't have a government taking care of their every need. That they're on their own. You see Christians thriving because that's all people have.
And those communities are so much more important
Yeah.
because those are survival strategies,
Right.
those communities,
Exactly.
right?
Absolutely.
So we're a victim of our
Yeah.
own success,
Absolutely.
weaponized against us
Yeah.
to control us.
To control us. Yeah.
And, when we start getting into these kind of conversations, see, now if you're Christian and you're listening, here's what the goal is.
Mhm.
First of all, this is an outreach because politically for republicanism in Minnesota,
Yeah.
if we can't get the Christians
Yep.
to unite
Right.
and then vote
Yep.
and then become politically active,
Absolutely.
this is a communist state.
Right.
Similarly, if we can't get into CD5 and CD4 and minister to the people that have been abandoned to communism,
Yeah.
we've just abandoned millions of people to a fate
Yeah.
that's awful.
Right.
And when you say, is the community going outside of itself?
It's a good question.
Well, there's a lot more work we could do, right?
Yep.
I mean, we're doing what we can, but we can do more. But if we could get this inner city, this core city, this metroplex
Yeah.
population
Yeah.
questioning these things,
Yeah.
and then get the outstate people to actually engage,
Mm-hmm.
man, this would be, and I'll tell you what's
Yeah.
so important about getting this to happen, to get people involved. Do you know that Minnesota is the center of the leftist ideology all over the world? This is ground zero where
Yeah.
this Living Word Church is at.
Yeah.
You guys are an outpost. It's like they sent in some,
Yeah.
resistors
Yeah.
to build this community right in
Yeah.
the center. Royce calls it the belly of the beast.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact,
Absolutely.
it is the belly
I
of the
agree.
beast.
I agree. And I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't have strong urges to get some acreage a little further out and have something outside of the influence of the metroplex, or find a different state altogether. I'm a South Dakota boy, and should I take my family to
home?
a place that embraces what I call freedom a little bit more readily, or but then you look at it, the fight is here.
Right,
The
we're on
fight
the
is
front. We're on
here.
the front lines.
And there are many excellent churches in the Twin Cities that have God-loving, God-fearing people that are ready. But maybe that move to be politically active has not been activated with Christians, because we have been, I think, scared to engage on that level, because our allegiance is to our faith and not politics. Although I know every boomer conservative is on the couch watching Fox News every night, but that's not the same thing as engaging politically and engaging in your community.
No, that's entertainment.
That is entertainment.
That's why we're doing the podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy talking to you, and thank you for coming back in. And I hope you come back soon. The point is, what is political engagement? It
Right.
is organizing your neighborhood,
You have to
meeting
be
your
out there.
neighbors,
Yeah.
and actually getting them out to vote.
Right.
I mean, it's not rocket science, and you don't
Nope.
need to be caught up in some huge structure
No.
to do it. If
No.
you know 10 of your neighbors,
Yeah.
and we get to the primary
Yep.
in August of next year, and you
Yeah.
call them, are you going to go vote in the primary?
Yeah.
What's the primary?
Mhm.
That's what they're going to say.
Yeah.
They're not even going to know there's a vote.
Yeah.
And that they have the power to determine the future of the republic,
Yep.
which is the future of their families.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get that message out.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're doing this. And that's
Yep.
why I'm so glad you're in. Of course, it was for me, a solemn day.
Right.
I remember
Yeah.
Steve Bannon said yesterday that if this deters you and scares you,
Mm.
you're in the wrong line of business.
Right.
Because that's the road we're on right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't that way. I went home and
Mm.
around the campfire at my house. Are you okay? Are you safe? I had people
Right.
calling me.
Right.
I don't want you to do this anymore. Because people care about me. I mean,
Right.
I said, thanks for caring about me. You got the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're saying some very controversial things, but we're not saying it to be controversial.
No.
We're saying it because it works,
Yeah.
and we want
Yeah.
people to experiment with it the same way we've experimented
Yep.
with secularism,
Yeah.
which failed.
Yeah.
Why do we know it failed?
Absolutely.
It failed because we've been at war my entire life.
Yeah.
It can't be right.
Yeah.
If it was so good, we wouldn't have to kill people to
Mhm.
defend it. If it was so righteous, and people go, well, the Crusades. You know what? Yes, there's the history of war around religion.
Mhm.
How about we get our own personal houses in order, quit lying to each other,
Yeah.
and then take a thermometer and say, where are we at? Because
Yeah.
my feeling, I mean, this is could be wrong, but I think if we quit lying to each other
Yeah.
and try to work on ourselves, stop hating the other person.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to quit lying to yourself first to be able to start working on yourself.
Right. Let's get that going. Let's get
Yeah.
it going. And how does that work politically? I'm a person of faith. I'm involved in politics.
Yep.
I'm not in conflict over that.
No.
I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yep.
Well, I mean, how many out there also feel that tug? If you feel that tug,
Yeah.
you can go to RoyceWhite.us, fill out the module Caucus Counter-Attack.
Yeah.
We'll get in touch with you, and we're going to organize. We
Yeah.
want to organize with your community.
Yeah.
And you know where we want to go? We want to get every believer outstate into politics,
Mhm.
into the party,
Yeah.
bringing their righteousness, their desire to do the right thing.
Yep.
Because to the extent that they don't do that, the bad people show up.
Yeah, they will.
All
They'll
we
fill the
gotta-
void.
All we got to do is show up.
Yeah.
That's
Well-
it. That is it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Showing up will definitely tip the scales in the proper direction.
well, you know,
Because someone will, if you don't show up, someone is going to give an answer that maybe you weren't going to give.
do you know wherever you live, there's a school board,
Mm-hmm.
and they have meetings.
Yep.
Do you know if you just organize 5 people in your neighborhood
Yeah.
and just go and sit there,
Yep.
you'll change the proceeding
Yeah.
because they're going to recognize they're being watched.
Yeah.
We're not even doing the
Yeah.
oversight. We need, and I said this, who did I say this to last night? Oh, and don't take this wrong. We don't need an audience.
Mm-mm.
We need an army.
Mm.
We need an army of people. And I don't mean military.
Right.
I mean politically organized
Yeah.
people that do everything we need to do across the full spectrum of government.
Yeah.
Or we're going to get ruled.
Yeah.
So the question we ask ourselves is, do we
Yeah.
want to be free?
Yep.
Or do we want to be ruled?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Right.
That's it.
I mean, yeah. And that's.
And Charlie Kirk gave his
he
life
was
on that stage
100%.
because he understood that.
Yeah.
What a brave man.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
But how you want to talk about brave? Standing there, there was hundreds of people there
Yeah.
in that amphitheater.
Yeah.
The security sucked. He must have seen those buildings. I mean, high buildings with the lines of sight. Oh man. I mean, he just was.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave the podcast. Thanks for coming in, John.
All right.
With this, all things function for good.
For those who
Believe.
called according to his purpose.
We've got to get that.
Yeah.
And feel that, and recognize from dust we came until dust we return.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever it is I'm supposed to do, I pray God that the strength to get it done.
Yeah. Amen.
That's just for me. And I think if we have more and more people that make that prayer of faith,
Mm-hmm.
Lord, thank you for the strength to
Yeah.
get done what you need me to do, whatever it is. Please, thank you for that strength. You know, prayer of faith that I'm thanking for something. I don't have it yet, but I
Mhm.
believe I'm going to receive it. The strength to do. If we could do that, we can save the country.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to save the country.
Yeah.
We need to save ourselves.
Yep.
John, good to see you.
It was good to see you too,
Thank
sir.
you so much. Tanner, thank you for coming in and producing for us this morning.
Of course.
We'll be back soon. Are you going to come back?
I would love to.
We're going to have you.
Absolutely.
We're going to have you back. We want to. What do they call that? We want to unite the tribes.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
Right? Thanks very much, everyone. Pray tonight, quietly.
Yeah.
Where the country is going to go through quite a time now. So let's be politically active in the most constitutional and peaceful way that we
Yeah.
can. And that is the counterweight to what we're seeing. Thanks very
Absolutely.
much, everyone. Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.